Well, tonight, 10 TV's Tiberi and 97.1 The Fans, Timmy Hall, are talking college football playoffs, the transfer portal, and what the Ohio State Buckeyes need to do to make it to next year's championship.
All right, Timmy Hall, my take is this. As I look back as to the reason why Ohio State lost to Miami.
Yeah.
Why they lost to Indiana. And, you know, I at one point I just thought maybe they ran out of gas. Another thing, just watching the playoff and everything, I don't think Ohio State was old enough, especially at the quarterback position. You look at the teams that are succeeding, Carson Beck, Fernando Mendoza, last year, Will Howard. I think older teams make a difference.
I'm not going to completely disagree with you on this take, Dom. I do think, however, that it's not one of the excuses that you like to hear for Ohio State when you take a look at the talent and everything that they had on this roster. And also, I think when you look at the fact that the defense was improved off of last year's defense, a defense that last year did have a lot of leadership types, mainly Jack Sawyer, who made one of the great plays in Ohio State football history that helped them to beat Texas and lead them to a national championship. You're right, though. Most coaches are going to say we want to have senior leadership. Maybe you didn't have enough of that on the offensive line this year. Julian Sainz got some growing to do, but I still think that was a team talented enough where you can have a younger quarterback. If there's enough around them that you can still win the big one. All
right, but let me ask you this. Going forward, we are witnessing, I think we'll agree, the professionalism of college football.
Yeah, it's bending that way.
Recruiting high school players was the lifeblood of this.
Yeah.
Do you see a day where that's backing up and the lifeblood's going to be the transfer portal? Do you see a day where schools like Bowling Green and the MAC schools and these other, that's going to become the farm system for this pro league?
We could be living in it right now, Dom, but I still think it's until we get there, I'm not going to fully believe it, because how many of the great players on Ohio State's team were au naturel recruits? I mean, you're still talking about guys like Carnell Tate, guys like Sonny Styles, guys like Jeremiah Smith. I mean, I was about to say Julian Sainz, but I can't say Julian Sainz because he did come from Alabama. So, again, that's something that is happening in college football. And I think as we start this offseason for Ohio State, a lot of fans are maybe getting a little bit nervous, wanting to know if they're – it's crazy to even say it, but is Ohio State's budget strong enough to go out and get all the players that they need? You want to get more of those senior players. They tried last year. You also got to hit on those guys, too. That's the other thing. You can get guys that have seniority, that have been around the block a little bit, but are they good enough? Are you going to hit on all of them? I think when you look back at last year's transfer portal selections, Ohio State was more in that coin flip range for the guys that were really, really strong players for them and the guys that were just kind of good and turned out to be just depth pieces.
Last thing, and I just don't think any of this is sustainable. And I think they're going to have rules, because not only do you go recruit these kids out of high school, you bring them here, then each year you have to re-recruit them. You got to get them to stay because there's so much temptation out there. It's
annoying.
And the other thing is, I think and we saw Ohio State lose a lot of guys to the portal, I think the days of five-star players sitting and waiting, I think those days are gone.
Yeah, and again, you might be right. And look, now there is room next year for a five-star guy that we were really worried about wasn't even going to make it to Ohio State because you had a coaching change with Brian Hartline. Then everybody's nervous about Chris Henry Jr., who you had committed a lot of time and energy. And once he gets here, money, right, to bring a guy like Chris Henry Jr. on campus. But now I guess the one positive with some of these guys jumping into the portal, not wanting to wait and develop a little bit more, is there's room for a true freshman, much like Jeremiah Smith did, to come right here to campus and play well right away. So, Chris, could be opportunity, but a lot of pressure on your shoulders, too, to live up to these lofty expectations that were set for you.
There you have it. He's the one and only Timmy Hall. Check him out Monday through Friday, 3 to 6. Common Man and Timmy. Keep it on 10 TV, 10 TV Plus, and 97.1 The Fan for the best Buckeye coverage there is.